what's the name of this? This is Tell Them You Love Me. The question that I originally asked you was, do you feel that something? Oh, I'm sorry. You have a question? You looking? You can speak.
What's going on?
We're about to talk about this show.
Something on?
Yeah, I'm recording audio. Risa Tisa.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, this is the story of Anna in Demand, where facilitated communication, which this is technically a personal story because I do have a sister with cerebral palsy. So even to hear that there's a show that's trending on Netflix at number one about someone with cerebral palsy, Tell Them You Love Me. It's a personal story. So I'm watching it from like just even me having, Joanne and things of that nature. So let me just ask you again. Again, you got to give me your thoughts on handicap person finding love. Should a handicapped person be with other handicapped people, or should they even seek love, or should someone who's able-bodied seek love with handicapped people?
I think it's okay for disabled and handicapped people to find love. I think everyone deserves love. Why not?
Okay.
We do it. I think that
All right, so
that should be okay as long as they're safe and it's a healthy environment.
so let's get to the nitty-gritty. This Anna lady, um, what are your thoughts? Did she do anything wrong here?
Yes, she did.
Look at that. Yeah.
I was hopeful. Because I like success stories. I wanted to hear that this method, this system that they were using worked. I was really hoping that they had found a way to help nonverbal people communicate. I thought that was fantastic. I'm like, oh, wow, this is life-changing. I mean, we can only imagine what that's like to live a life where you can't speak and communicate properly. So, I was really heartbroken that if that's not a real thing, if it doesn't really work, and it didn't appear.
Do you think she was controlling what he was saying? They said that part of it could be her thinking what she wants him to say, and then that's what he's typing. Because facilitated communication means that her arm has to be holding his hand to spell things out. Do you feel like it was in her head, or that was really what he was wanting and saying?
Well, in the beginning, I thought that this was real. Like, yes, it was her hand, but yet she had been around him enough and worked with him enough that he was really communicating in a nonverbal way to help her facilitate his communication. But in the end, it's hard to believe that she wasn't, really channeling her own mind, because when you have the mom and brother who hasn't seen him do that with them, it's like, I don't know. I don't know that you can say this is what he's saying and no one else has seen this. Not even I think the doctor who evaluated him, he didn't get that either. So.
Right. It's when the brother said, I tried it myself and I didn't get these words out of him. The mother tried it. She didn't get these words. So how are you getting this out of him? Again,
and then they also didn't have a situation where they could show us as the audience, and she didn't have a way to show that in court. I was hoping that it was a situation where they actually allowed an example where, they brought the, typewriter in and he actually
Yeah.
showed he could do it, but they didn't do that. So I mean, we can only
Right. The Anna lady said that the mom had the way she walked him in, it was like almost showing that he was very disabled and like she didn't have to walk him in like that. I mean, that's his mom. She could walk him in how she wants, but I thought that they would actually pull out the tool and ask him, did you consent to this and did you want this? Because that was the time for Anna to show, like, let me just pull out the tool now and let me show y'all that he's saying this.
And the thing is, it's like, she's wrong regardless, because this man has lived in a very kind of more permanent childlike mind, body, and environment. So, I mean, there's no way
She wanted him to be a man.
Progressed him to this new
Look at that
act, new thing that he's never experienced without even talking to his mom, talking to his brother.
Technically without talking to him either. Like speaking, like, can you say yes, head up and down? Like, that's why I want to see the man. Do you want me to do this?
D-man.
D-man. So yeah, see, you got me.
D-man.
She got me saying Demond because, she ain't got the sauce. But D-man, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. She got the other non-black people saying
Demond. Yeah, the man. Yeah, he wanted to be called D-man.
But those of us that know, we knew.
Correct. See, he wanted love. I mean, you could tell he's a loving God. I don't know if he was ready to move on to that step. Mind you, this Anna lady was still married. Still married with a kid.
Makes it even more questionable and somewhat sick, because I don't understand. You had a family at home. You had a husband. The fact that you would violate him in that way and you
went back home to your husband.
Him.
You think she still slept with her husband after that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I
God.
think she's...
Oh, nasty work.
I think that she's, out of her mind. She's sick because there's no way, I wanted to believe that she was helping him and he was progressing and he was, she had gotten him through some college course attempts and he was really finding a way to communicate. And
do you think she was in love with him though? She said she fell in love based on his spirit and his heart of wanting to, just his mind, like based on what she was helping him write. Do you think she was just falling in love with a fabrication of what she wanted, or she really was in love with this young soul?
I wanted to believe that she really liked him. I was hoping that this was going to be a cute little love story, but that's kind of sick. I mean, I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
She had a husband and family at home. How did you even allow your mind to get there?
You think she rubbed his leg?
I do think that something. Maybe she cared for him. I mean, anybody can have love for somebody that you're helping or caring for. You're around them for a good amount of time. So I wanted to think that. I was like, oh, okay, it's in my mind, I'm thinking he's like a child to me. So I would have immediately, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm in a role of a mom, a caregiver, a family member to take care of him. How do you get your mind to that?
Yeah, I think the turning point was when he said, nobody loves me, or I forgot what words he used, but he's like, no one loves me. And that's what, she helped him write. And she was thinking like, I could be that for you. I could be the person who love you. And I think she just disappeared into that fantasy.
And I felt her with that. I was like, no, that's dope. She wanted to
help him.
Provide some love and attention for him. So I understand that. Like, that's cool. But
so, and mind you, I thought this was going to end like nicely before we got to the end of it. I thought she was going to say like, we actually fell in love when they went to the mom. And what are your thoughts on the time when they went to the mom's house for her to tell them like, we're in love? And this is after she already did the deed.
I thought she had lost her damn mind. There is no reason you went in his mom's house, in his house.
And said, "Are you gonna tell her? I'm gonna tell her."
Them, you know, you should have been having a conversation before any of this even happened.
I thought she was divorced I thought she was divorced saying, "Hey, I fell in love with the man," but she's like, "No, I fell in love with him. I'm gonna tell the mama and the brother, and I'm still married with a child." Like, that's wild.
I mean, honestly, I hate to say this, but this is an example of how a lot of white people in this world sometimes allow their privileged experiences in life and benefits to overstep and disrespect boundaries. And you just felt like you could go in there and just tell them what it is and that was excusable and not a problem. And you felt like it was okay just because you told yourself that it was okay. You had no regard to this man's body and life in general, or even his family members. Like, how did you just walk in there like, oh, by the way. Yep.
And he can't even, like, and I'm sure he just sitting there just shaking his, like cerebral palsy. He can't even communicate. So he just sitting there shaking and they're like, "What'd you just say? What did you just," and this is his mama.
And to insult them further, to think that you feel like they have limited him because he hadn't gotten his privates touched on before, and you just felt like you were going to change his life by doing that.
They were in the car listening to gospel. She changed it to classical. Like, that's what he likes, and she changed it right back. And then the other time where I forgot what happened after that.
And so now you're going to tell me that he typed to you that he likes classical music when he been listening to gospel music?
His whole, like, he enjoys that with his family. Now he's above that. Now he don't like fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? So when the trial came, what were your thoughts? Did you feel like even going to trial, was she raping him? That's the question. Was she raping him?
Here's why I say she raped him. For starters, you didn't ask for permission to the very people that have been taking care of him his whole life. So whether you felt like this facilitated communication works, you did not show that to them. They did not see that with their own eyes.
Correct.
So in several different ways, you screwed up.
Correct.
Because you had no authority and right or permission to touch him or even have him in that type of space. Like, he's like a child. Yes, and I respect the fact that on paper, he's a grown man. However,
he's 5'3".
He is like a baby.
That's a small man.
How do you even think of that? How do you even...
And that's when the brother starts.
That's truly disturbing.
The brother started crying when he said he saw the whelps on his back from, probably carpet burn.
Because this lady,
he's thinking about the size of this woman. This is a grown woman, bigger.
She's taller.
She's taller than 5'3".
He is.
Probably heavier than he is. And not knowing the support. So even for him to find out the details that she was on top of him, and to say that she laid down a yoga mat. And he still had carpet burns, and they had a beach towel in her office. And this is her office. That's just so, like, just even the thought of it. You can't have the decency to take him to a hotel, put him in a soft bed. You're on the floor with him. And where I say the whole raping thing became serious is because, yes, even if you said if he typed, yes, I want to be with you, and yes, I want to see what a woman feels like, blah, blah, blah. It was no way that during the act, you pulled out that machine and say, do you still want me to continue? Or does this feel good? Should I continue? You kind of know when a person can speak to say, if a woman says, hey, after 2 minutes, stop, you're hurting me. And the guy keeps going, he's raping her. That's full on assault. But for her to do that and him not to be able to say, stop, I'm hurting my back, that's, a man can't even speak. So to me, that's why she is guilty of SA. And she had to go to jail. Now,
So sick.
do you feel 12 years was excessive?
No. No. And I don't like that she got out without still needing to prove this idea she has that this facilitated communication works.
Well, so that's how she got out,
Well, because they didn't allow it.
Right, they didn't allow.
They didn't allow her to use it, so she had no defense for herself. But it's still like, okay, you still committed a crime. You still harmed this man.
Right.
And the mom said he's now struggling with that because you violated him. You opened him up to something that he had not ever experienced. And now he has to deal with that and live with that misery and confusion with his body and his mind every day.
It's almost the same way it works for young girls who are assaulted by men and now they become promiscuous. It's because you now, without my wanting it, you opened me up to this thing. And now, even if it was either slight pleasure or pain, even to get out of my head, I feel so confused about it. Let me make sure. Like, the mom said she had to get him medication to stop touching himself. And I'm like, I can only imagine, like, you weren't doing this and you're 30-something. You weren't doing this at first, and now you're doing this. It's like, this wasn't even a thing. And this woman, this white lady came in and just rocked his world, literally.
It's something to be said about this name, Anna. It doesn't seem like a lot of good stories have come out of these white ladies with this name, Anna, in several different situations.
You got a different...
I'm thinking about that other documentary that was on Netflix. Gosh, what was the name of that thing? What was it? Oh gosh, I gotta look it up. But
you gotta pull it up.
This needs to be studied at this point.
Yeah, no, the fact that Anna's husband didn't want to have nothing to do with this documentary, face blurred out. What are your thoughts on the husband as far as the embarrassment of saying you stepped out of our marriage to go sleep with a man who has cerebral palsy? What does that say to him as a man? What are your thoughts?
Well, I can only imagine that is, number one, embarrassing, degrading, and
especially y'all have a kid, y'all have a daughter involved in this.
So, right. So I was going to say, I'm more concerned about the children. And why and that's the question I would like to know. Why does she feel so comfortable talking about this?
Yeah, for this show.
Your children could possibly see this.
When they
maybe she's trying to, vindicate herself. I mean, but
when they say
it doesn't look good.
When they say she was guilty, and they sentenced her to the 12 years, looking at her face, she had no emotion. It's like she almost knew, like, even the brother reading the brother's, what do they call it, victim statement, or, he did the victim statement, I guess, for his brother. She just stone face, like she didn't care. And I'm like, man, that's just, that's hard, man. I think she deserved the 12 years. She only did 2 years, got out, the appeal, saying that they shouldn't took away the facilitated communication. They should have let that stand during the trial. So her appeal won and she's out. And like she said, she couldn't teach anymore, which that's the first thing that should happen. She shouldn't be able to teach ever again. You're taking advantage of students. And then secondly, like, it's almost, I think about it like, what if all teachers told themselves that this person likes me based on, little nuances and acted on it?
Oh, well, that has happened. I mean, there's countless stories. And, every time I see these stories of these teachers, especially these female teachers assaulting these kids, my mind is blown. And I think surely this wouldn't happen again. And 3-4 months go by and there's another story. It's truly disturbing that people are in positions where they should be protecting, providing for, caring for, educating, being a leader of children, or even people that assault or harm or abuse the elderly and the disabled. It's a special place in, for
it's crazy.
you, because I just don't understand. There's no way.
So let me ask you, what do you think she was getting out of it? Normally people, have sexual encounters to, either have a family, provide a child, for someone's pleasure. Do you think she was doing it for her pleasure, for his pleasure, or do you think she really wanted to have a family with D-Man?
No, I think she's sick, and
I'm saying,
she didn't
did she
care.
want to pleasure him, or it was for her own pleasure?
That was for her.
Damn.
Because it's like you said, he can't speak. So you don't know if that was hurting him or what he got out of that.
She got her rocks off.
You certainly didn't have that damn typewriter out while you were sliding his back across the carpet.
God. Look at this.
It's sad, and my heart breaks for that mom and his brother to hear that and to learn that somebody has taken your disabled family member and
just used them,
taking advantage of them like that. A person who is very helpless, and don't get me wrong, I want to believe
he wanted
that there had been
love.
An opportunity for him to advance in that way. Not even intimately. That wasn't even my thought process. I was happy to see that he was possibly, able to write a book if he wanted to, or further his education, possibly have a job one day doing what normal people have the opportunity to do. You went from that to violating him in the most intimate way. It's just disturbing.
Just knowing from what you saw of her, if she would have got pregnant by him, how would that have played out, you think? You think she would have kept the baby?
Oh, God. Thank you, God, that nothing like that happened.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have looked.
Because
I think she did make something, even at the end of this, she still made up in her head that I talked to someone who reached out to the man. I heard he still is longing for love. And she's like, I wanted to give that to him. So I think she probably would have kept the baby and had this thing in her head, like, I'm going to take care of him. Because she wanted to put him in his own house and sit on his face, I guess. I don't know. It's horrible. Horrible. So anyway, she's out. This Netflix special is trending #1. I think it opens up a lot of people's eyes to cerebral palsy. Again, my sister has cerebral palsy. And even she has difficulty struggling to, find love and find the right person, the right man to be with her. And this is why this show hits home, because I think about her in ways where, what if someone takes advantage of her? Like, what if someone is there just to get their rocks off and not really, that's a fear of mine. And at least she could speak and say, no, I don't want to, to not be able to speak and have this happen with a typewriter in front of your face and taking the index finger and make you press the number F and it creates a whole sentence is wild. And I really want to see how this facilitated communication really works.
If it works.
They said
it works.
At the very end, they said they don't even use this. Most people discredited this. Some places still use it, I guess, to give hope to people who can't speak, but
yeah, they're saying how can you really show that this is coming from the mind of these individuals when you yourself physically have to hold their hand to press a button?
Right.
These are things that's coming out of your mind.
Right. Like if they could write, I would get it. Like if he could just write some type of something, I would get, or draw something. But
well, they had a better chance of when they had the cards out on the table, and then saying, I'd rather you point to the letter then. You, at this point, point to the letter, and we just gonna have to have this slower process. But we gonna have to do that, and it needs to be recorded because it needs to be documented that this is what you're saying and this is what you're like to actually show. But you saying this man typed this whole essay and, they need to bring in this other lady who was supposedly helping him write these papers.
She needs to come in. And again, that's probably what broke my heart after listening to the whole story. And at the very end, they showed D-Man and his family, they showed him moving around. And I'm like, either two things are happening. Either he is this brilliant genius who has his mind he's in a body that he's like, I'm just stuck in his body and he can't get it, what he wants to feel on his thoughts out. And his brother and his mother is kind of maybe like literally crippling him to not be able to show himself, treat him like a baby. Or he never said none of those things. This lady made all that up and gave him this experience to where now he don't even know what's going on. He's like, I didn't say none of that.
Well, it's so heartbreaking because she didn't even allow for that to remain the focus because they were in support of his growth in that way, of him being able to go back to school, to find these new interests he might have. And then you didn't even allow that to prove itself because you, ma'am, was one step away from putting this baby on OnlyFans.
God damn, one step away. Well, I hope they do a follow with the man, D-Man. I hope they do a follow up just saying how he's doing because I am curious about his life now. I know he's probably almost 40 years old now. This lady, I'm not too worried about what this lady's doing, but I am curious about how this affects her kids and her husband. I want to hear their side now. I would love to hear their side. But it looked
this lady, I'm sure somewhere plotting on her next victim because she clearly has a problem. And, it won't be long before she's locked up again.
Yeah. Keep her away from your local children's hospitals because I think she's out on the prowl.
Because me seeing Derek is his name, D-Man, at the end, in him moving around, and I'm still so heartbroken for his mom, his brother, for him, because this is not something that should have ever happened to him in that way. And he is now trapped in this experience. And we'll have to struggle with that because unless there comes some advanced technology or another system to
help
I
believe it'll come.
Really show that he can communicate differently, he's going to be in the care of his family members in a childlike way.
Yeah, no, I believe something's coming where they can tap into the brain and get real words or visions out, but I don't think we're there yet. So hopefully one day D-Man can tell his own story. But it is trending #1 on Netflix. I hope again people watch it and give their own thoughts on it.
Like, this blew my mind. I thought we were gonna watch a story of a love story or something. I did not know this was gonna be on here. This is very humbling.
Yeah, this opens my eyes to the dark recesses of America because this story, without Netflix showing it to me, probably goes on more often than not.
Right.
And you wouldn't even, most people who live a regular life, going to 9 to 5 work, they don't deal with the special needs people. So to know that this is probably going on is very eye-opening to probably a lot of people.
It's hard because when you don't, I'm a mom, so I don't even imagine these things happen. I want to believe that people are kind and protective over those that are less fortunate and helpless. And so it's just sick and heartbreaking to know that people are animals and just And as a woman, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, the fact is, it's very hard to listen when the woman's the prey or the predator. It changes the outlook on like things because normally this is a man. Men are predators, where women are prey.
Who the hell do you think you are to tell yourself this is okay and it should be okay? Because I like him and I'm in love with him, and yet he hasn't been able to communicate that to anybody else.
Right.
While you saying tell them you love me.
Do you think the mom was wrong for recording her with the police on the phone?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
His mom did everything I would have done.
Right. She was pissed. It's hard to constrain yourself knowing you want to just go across someone's face.
Well, because that's what I was gonna say. Because that's what would have happened if it was me. Mm-hmm. Because I know you didn't put your hands on my child, and how you gonna tell me? And I've been raising him. I know him. Like,
that's crazy.
That's wild to even think like, no, lady. She needed to be in there them 2 years. I mean, she should have stayed in there longer.
Yeah, I don't think she learned the lesson.
But she need to go back in there.
Yeah.
She need to go back in there long enough for some of those women to violate her in that way.
Right. Let her not speak and get drug across the floor and have, chafing on her butt and back.
I mean, because when you think about it, there are normal people in this world that may not find fulfillment in those intimate ways, to where how can you just assume that he enjoyed that, or that he was telling you that? Like, that's crazy.
But again, you have the situation where he might have typed and it might have been real. But anyway, with that being said, let's just end it here, man. And y'all go watch Tell Them You Love Me.
Y'all go watch Tell Them I Love You. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Tell Them I Love You. Tell Them You Love Me.
Y'all keep your eyes on these predators out here. It's a real thing out here. It's sad. Watch your kids. What do you say? Hide your wife, hide your kids.
Yeah, because they freaking everybody out here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They out here on it.
Man, there you go. So, again, interesting watch. Y'all go watch. Let's discuss it further. Comment section, you already know. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and we're going to take it from there.